Hello
Okay.
and welcome to JRock's Babylon. I'm your host, Jason JRock Houston, and our guest today is lead singer Mike Myers. Now, I got to ask you, Mike, because I want to get the pronunciation right. How do you pronounce the name of the band?
Slik Helvetika.
Helvetica. Okay, now
Yeah.
that's a great place to start because, definitely when I heard the name, it definitely sounds like a name of a metal band. But could you give us a story behind how you came up with that?
Okay. So it's spelled phonetically. It's all consonants. So Slik Helvetika.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit, I thought if people have reason to go beyond a little bit of the top of the surface, they could scratch down this pike. So Helveti warriors, it comes from the region near Switzerland of Helvetica. Confederato di Helvetica is on the Swiss franc. And a lot of people didn't even know. We did a gig with Crocus, and they were asking us like, "What is Slik Helvetica?"
Yeah, because
And I'm thinking like, "You live in Switzerland, man."
what's cool about it is like I heard the name and I thought, okay, that must be European. It sounds like it, And
Yeah,
Helvetica, I can definitely say it, but like it's try to say that three times. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, it is a font, but the warriors from the Helvetic region held off the Romans when the Romans ruled the world, and when the Romans went in there, did crazy stuff to humiliate them, like they will put yokes on them and make them plow their fields. So there was quite a bit of power there, and if you did the history, you might be, oh wow, that's cool.
Because I never I didn't really know about the band until your publicist sent me a press release on you guys. So in prepping for today's interview, I like to do my homework and listen to some of the
Yeah,
music. And one of the first things I checked out was the music video for the song Wild. Now, to me, listening to it and watching the video, it reminded me kind of old school metal. I got a kind of a
yeah.
like Iron Maiden kind of accept kind of vibe.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Uh, are you at all influenced by those bands?
Those, yeah. I'm not as young as I look. I know, like I look like I'm only 16, but I'm not.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
yeah. Me
the
too.
so
We're about
the
the same age.
so we're just pretending to be young. But I think early on there in within the radar, Priest, Maiden, Accept, that was the handful that garnered the attention, and I want to be like those guys, and I love that sound. And then I have an open mind. There's a lot of new bands that are absolutely killer. So I would infuse that as things got later. And I think some of the newer stuff sounds a little different, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's great.
It's funny you say that because I was getting ready to say that because, like a lot of my favorite bands, they can do more than one type of song. I mean, you take a band like Kiss, they got everything that'll slam you overhead like Detroit Rock City, and then they'll throw in like Beth or Forever or something like that. But or
Yeah.
even I was made for loving you. But the point being, I also listen to Beautiful. That's a great example of what we're talking about. That's kind of a different side
Yeah.
of what the band does. A little softer, but yet it's still metal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's definitely still metal, and the qualities that are like, well, is it driving? Yeah. Does it make, if you're in the car, does it make you want to drive faster? Does it make your heart beat a little faster? And does it have a really catchy hook and a great guitar solo? And like, yeah, and has
yeah. Now let's
dynamics.
talk
So
about great hooks because kind of what you're talking about is very interesting because then when I listened to the latest single, which I think came out in early December, Solarhead, it almost sounds like, I mean, talk about progression, like full speed ahead. Almost
yeah,
sounds like um, a different band. Not that it's a bad thing, but what I mean by okay, like you go back and you listen or watch a video from the Wild, and you get really like kind of that old school metal,
yeah,
and then Solarhead. I mean, I love it. So don't get me right, I love the riffing. It's everything I love. It's like, wow, that's the same band.
yeah. It's quite a bit different. We recorded the album, and then we had more tracks left over. And Solarhead was one that hadn't been released anywhere, and they're like, we want that.
That
And
was a
I'm
great
like, well,
choice for a new single. I gotta tell you, man.
yeah. So that was kind of like the lead off song. And I'm like, well, that's really kind of heavy, and it's a little bit far away. Not far away, but it's out of the wheelhouse from maybe some of the stuff that's on the rest of the album. But they're like, yes, we want to power through, and that will be the first release. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. So
They
I said,
made a great choice
okay.
because it accomplished exactly that. I mean, especially people just discovering the band, they know nothing about what came
Yeah,
before. It's like, okay, you got us hooked now. Now I can't wait to see what
yeah,
comes next. You know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that one was something that was in the bucket. I actually wrote that a couple of years ago. So that just got recorded and came to fruition pretty recently.
And
So
Solarhead, let me ask you, what is a Solarhead? What is that about? Yeah.
Solarhead. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it came from the idea of like a CME or the flash that ends all the white light that everybody talks about in remote viewing and things like that.
Huh.
Um, and how powerful the sun is and what the sun does with its magnetosphere and the CME and everything like
I
that.
mean,
And there
yeah,
could be, yeah,
yeah.
it could engulf the planet and end all life with a life exterminating event. And I thought that'd be cool to
Hopefully
write
not
a
in our
song about
lifetime,
that.
right? But right, Mike. But
Yeah,
but it really is interesting because a lot of us are so busy with our everyday life that you don't stop and like think about. But as I'm sitting here talking about it, you bring that up. I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, it really is amazing that the whole world revolves around the sun. It goes around
yeah,
and around. Time has a lot to do with that. So it's the sun powers so many different things.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think everything's just temporary, but we look at it on a long scale. But the scale of an ant is different than the scale of a human. That's different than the scale of a something or other. And we think we do live in a fragile universe.
Yeah, I mean, not to get disgusting or anything here, but like I heard somebody quote that like the oldest knowing kind of a creature that's been alive for millions and millions of years, outlived everything. Cockroaches are still here.
Yeah, they are. They
Yeah,
are.
yeah. So that's pretty amazing. So, what are your plans? So, is the new album? Is it almost done? Is it going to come out early next year?
It's finished. It's going through the final steps, and it should be out January, February ish.
What a way
And
to
it'll
kick off
be,
a new year! And then,
yeah, it's going to be awesome.
and you guys are on Deco, and I got to say, they're a great little label. They got a lot of they got everything from Tiffany to Albert Bouchard from Blue Oyster Cult. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and then I got another a great artist they have on there, Kelly Deco, is kind of a classic rock
yeah,
artist. But
yeah.
how did you hook up with them?
Well, that's a long story, and the
Okay.
short story, the short of it, I'm gonna try and make it short. Was the producer that I had been working with had been doing some work for them, and I was looking at the roster, and I'd be like, man, we'd really fit with him, and not to like diminish myself, but
Huh, no.
I mean, we're trying really hard, but we're really not a
Well, I'll
superstar,
tell you what. Like,
you
see, that's
know?
the thing is, when I read that oh, they're signed to Deco, and I'm aware of all the artists that are on there, and they are quite different if you look at every, and that's why I
Yeah,
think a band like this stands out on a label like that because
yeah.
you're probably the heaviest thing that got signed of a label.
I think so. Yeah. But it seemed like their size and the way their promotion works and everything like that, they would be a good fit for us.
That's what I love is the way they promote their artists. I mean,
Yeah.
they're just great at what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
I
They're
can't
awesome.
think of too many. So talk about the recording of the album. I mean, were these songs recorded over like a course of a couple of years or?
Yeah, it's the course of a couple of years. When things struck all at once and we were doing a live thing and we were playing um, a lot of some changes happened within the lineup because we're not youngsters, like I said, some
Yeah,
life
yeah.
changes and things like that. So the drummer moved to Florida and the band was going, not a lot of live performance. So I have an ability to play many instruments. So I didn't want to give up. So
Oh,
I'm
good
like,
for you.
I'm
Yeah.
still going to record. I'm still going to work this out. So some of the tracks are me, some of the tracks are my bass player that I worked with. And over the course of a couple of years, I came up with, I kept writing, kept doing stuff.
I love that.
And
I mean,
yeah.
there's you, and then there's with Van Halen. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like that. So as the new year rolls around, I've just had a hand operation, which will help me out a lot. I teach guitar and I have a guitar in my hand all the time, and I need surgery badly. So this little bit of time off till we get back out and have a live lineup is gonna be beneficial. It's
yeah.
gonna be
Now,
great.
I love hearing that. Guys that can play more than one instrument. Now, I was going to ask, were you always a front man? Were you always a singer, or did you like start out like a lot of guys playing the guitar and?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to play guitar. And I was pretty primitive in my ways. I'm like, oh, I got to be busy all the time on guitar, play busy stuff. But I would sing a song. And the first opportunity we had to go into a real studio, we went in there, and a producer went in there, and we had our front man. And when you put somebody in front of a mic that really has pitch problems,
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
pretty noticeable. And they're like, yo, you're singing. I'm like, oh, I have one song I sing. No, you're singing all the time. And from that point on, I had to learn to sing and play guitar. So
Yeah.
with a one guitar band, and then it became a three piece. So we were like a power trio, but we were very well received. And with vocals, I sang. The bass player had backup capacity, and so did the drummer. So it was very full sounding.
And let me ask
So,
you, did that take a little bit of
oh yeah,
confidence building to get to the point where you were comfortable being the
yeah.
front? Yeah.
Yeah. So the one song that I would sing and play, I had that all sussed out. That was really simple. I could sing it and play it. And the other ones, when I went back in, I played my guitar part and then I sang over it. And then when we came out of the studio to rehearse the songs, it was pretty difficult. There was a
Yeah.
learning curve to that. There
Yeah.
really
It's
was.
kind of like I don't know how big of a fan you are of the Eagles, but the bass player, Randy Meisner, who died a couple of years back, he was known for
Mhm.
singing one of the biggest hits, Take It to the Limit. And he
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
got kicked out of the band because he didn't want to sing it anymore. He's like, no, I can't take the pressure.
Yeah. It wasn't the pressure. It was that there was definitely a learning curve.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Sometimes these songs are written in a way that we're not playing live and not singing and playing them, but it's not insurmountable. It seems like it is at first. You go, oh my God, I'm going to play that and sing a counter melody. It's not the same rhythm or anything like that, but you get it,
Well,
you
everybody's
know?
got a different story. I mean, some
Yeah.
guys have just been doing it all their life, and they're a natural. And then there are
Yeah.
guys like you, and even I've heard Dave Mustaine from Megadeth talk about over the years where when he formed Megadeth, originally he wanted to have another lead singer, but
Yeah.
well, his problem was he said that I couldn't find a singer that I was comfortable singing the words I wrote. I know what the song's about. I know how. And he said actually it was a producer and a manager who came up to him and said, Dave, these are your songs. I think you should be the front man. And it's
Yeah.
funny, you know, Megadeth may have been a completely different band if it hadn't been for that, but
Oh, yeah.
nobody would have known what a great singer this guy is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he has a lot of their own sound and their own character to that by singing and writing those songs.
I'm sure you probably have some agreement there where maybe too, if you wrote the song, but yeah, you're having somebody else sing your lyrics, maybe it wouldn't be as heartfelt, if you know what I mean.
No, it might not.
Yeah, yeah,
There was some songs that were written that were pretty heartfelt and touching, and when I would sing them, I'd be pretty emotional.
yeah, yeah.
And a lot of times I'd be like, okay, I've got to put emotion out of this. I'm an actor. I'm going to go out there. Don't cry when you sing this song or whatever. So I got past that, but that's
And
part of it. There's an emotional delivery anytime. I think any good form of music should be a delivery of energy that you give off and somebody gets you
yeah, and
know
then especially if you're a songwriter, you have a better idea of maybe how the song should be emoted. But there's
yeah
two kind of trains of thought here. That if it's a good enough song and you have somebody else come in and sing your song, they could do an absolutely fantastic job. Even maybe
right
turn it into something that you didn't even see how great of a song it could become.
right
But then there's also the flip side, which is if somebody comes in and doesn't do as good of a job, maybe you'd be a lot more critical because it is your
yeah
song and they're not singing it the way it was
yeah
written. Yeah,
There's different ways that different bands handle different things. Sometimes all the writing's done in a collaboration. A bass player might come up with a cool riff, or a guitar player, and then the singer adds something that's really cool, and it forms around that. And I'm spoiled. I've been the singer and guitarist for so long, for many moons, and that's pretty much how I'm accustomed to doing it. So I'm always writing melody lines around chord changes and things like that, and come to the table with the whole song usually.
yeah, and what's kind of interesting about that, Mike, is the fact that like you're saying, a lot of guys I've interviewed over years, they tell me it takes a certain kind of talent not to just be able to remember all your guitar parts, but remember all the lyrics and be able to do it all at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yes, it's definitely a learned behavior. Yeah.
And as a guitar player, do you prefer like being the lone guitar player, or do you like to have a flashy lead player in the band?
No, I think that a rhythm guitar player, some of my favorite bands have two guitar players,
Yeah,
and I would love to have a rhythm player. But at when you're not at a pro level, it adds another dynamic of having another member and the personality differences of musicians.
yeah,
We know musicians are unique people, right? So, but I always felt like if you really have something to say in your guitar solo, it should stand out by itself. It should be dynamic. It should be cool.
yeah, yeah,
So whether there's a rhythm guitar behind it, you when there's a rhythm guitar behind it, you kind of get lazy with your content.
yeah.
But I would love to add another guitar player for rhythm or share leads with. And we have from different times through the history of the band had different guitar players involved, and we always came back to myself as the main person.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, maybe things have a way of working out because, like you
Yeah,
said, you've been the one constant mainstay,
yeah.
and I would say on that front, when it did come time to maybe bring in some new guys, even just as a live band, you have every right to kind of be the face and the voice and the guy that goes out and does
Yeah.
interviews because, no offense to anybody else, but you put in the most work.
Yeah. And it really, really takes the reason the times that we did add another guitar player, it gave me an opportunity to put down a guitar and make contact and front the band and be a vocalist
Yeah.
at that time, rather than just some guy who plays guitar. And it's added some more dynamics to the live show and things like that, I think
So
so.
how many years has it been since the band's played live?
It's been 2 years.
Oh wow. So probably with this new album, it'll give you guys a
Yep.
reason to get out and
Oh
start.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you have certain guys in mind already for
Yes.
it'll be in the live band. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. The roster is filling up pretty quickly.
And so like you plan to like go into rehearsals for the tour or like it's like well let's wait and see how the album does first.
Well, right now, with the hand injury and the hand operation, I'm not going to have a guitar back in my hand for 1 month. And the drummer that most likely is going to fill this position is on tour right now, finishing up a tour with another musician.
Oh, okay, okay.
So we're probably a couple weeks we'll get together, and I'm excited about live rehearsals because this is full blown. We don't live, it's pretty loud. It's pretty fun,
Yeah.
you know?
So
Yeah.
so let me ask you like have you found that the band is like very popular like in the European countries, maybe more so even here than in the US?
Well, it's hard to judge because of who we are and what promotion is behind us. We're a little fish
Yeah.
right now, but but when I look at some of the festivals that are going on in Europe and different things like that, um, I'm trying to Summer Breeze, Vakken, and everything like that. There's some pretty big crowds out there going to see metal,
Yeah, yeah.
and predominantly like I don't know. They're really what is in America? Is it mostly country? Is it mostly rap?
I
What's
think it's a
going
little bit of
on?
everything. And then you got
Yeah.
kind of like over the last maybe 10 to 15 years, kind of, like this mainstream metal kind of making a comeback, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the popular band, like the ones you call the hair bands or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
And even where I'm from in Los Angeles, um, believe it or not, like talking about bands that play out live, a big thing out here is tribute bands, and
Yes.
people may laugh at that, but I've got to see some of them. Some are pretty good, but the fun ones to me are the ones that actually um, it's what I like to call rock and roll theater. They actually dress the part.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I
Some
mean
of
I've
these
been one.
bands are really interesting.
Yeah, I've seen some of
They
them where you'd
yeah.
almost swear it was a real guy, a
Yes.
real Axl Rose or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah,
And yeah, the players emulate they're at like the actor, the guy
yeah,
playing Jimmy Page parts, looks like Jimmy
yeah.
Page, moves like Jimmy Page. You're like, wow, these
Like
guys
I
are
don't know if
really
you know,
good at what they
I don't
do.
know if you know this, Mike, but the guy in Steel Panther, he goes, he originally was in a great the Atomic Punks Van Halen tribute out here in L.A.
Yes.
And then,
Ralph
yeah, Ralph, yeah, that's exactly the guy. And I
or
think
Mike.
it was by Michael something now, but
Yeah, Mike Starr.
Michael Starr, but he was briefly in L.A. Guns, and then you know that he left LA Guns and actually went back to the Van Halen tribute and was making more money there. And now he's
Yeah.
laughing all the way to the bank with Steel Panther.
I love them, by the way. I think
And
they're
what I love
awesome.
about their act is, it is kind of an 80s tribute, but
Yeah.
it's a tribute to the era. And I love the fact that they're not playing other people's music. It's original tunes.
No, no. And it's like it's comedic all the way around. The lyrics are comedic. The way they act, the way they do things on stage, the things that they
And it's
say
funny
are
because some of the
incredible.
stuff sometimes when they pop up in the press over, I mean, there was a period for a few months where him and some other guys they were like getting in a feud with Nikki Six about something.
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to ask Mike, you probably get this asked all the time, but you ever have people make fun of your name? Mike Myers. Hey, Halloween, Halloween, Mike Myers, Michael Myers.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you
Yeah,
know what's funny? I'll tell you, I've never seen any of those movies.
I bet. Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was gonna
when I
say.
was when I was younger and I had a girlfriend, she was scared to death. She saw one of the movies and one of the lines was
Is that you?
Michael
Oh my
Myers has returned to kill. So so every day that it's a Halloween or a Friday the 13th, I make sure I pay by credit card so that people look and see my name.
God. Yeah, yeah.
But
Or you could just tell, hey, I'm also Austin Powers, or the guy from Wayne's World.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
And as a musician, that's my wannabe position forever. But I've done lots of different things, and I worked in RV sales, recreational vehicle sales. So I had an older couple, and I said, what's your name?" And I said, "My name is Mike Myers." And the guy's like, steps
Oh,
back and he
really?
doesn't say anything for a minute, and then he goes, "Groovy, baby."
Yeah,
And I would have never pegged him for that
Austin Powers.
comedic and
Yeah,
that have even, but obviously had affinity for that movie. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
funny.
So when you're not doing music, what else do you enjoy doing on your off time?
Well, I own I've been a martial artist for about 40 years. I carry on that tradition and keep doing that. But I own a retail bike store, so I'm involved in bicycling and that sport. So I'm pretty active. And the third thing we probably won't talk about a lot, but I've been involved in a remote viewing program.
What's that?
So
What's
a
that?
remote viewing program.
Oh, okay,
So
okay,
that'll and many programs. So maybe somebody will get up the gumption to do some research on that.
okay, okay.
And
And
probably,
yeah, I'll have to check that out. And then
yeah.
you mentioned that you give guitar lessons. Do you do that online or privately?
No, I've done that for years on the side for roadies and different people and things like that. But right now I teach at a rock school and I have some students there and I coach some bands and teach different instruments.
What's the best
It's
advice
fun.
you give to like up and coming musicians?
Yeah, yeah.
I said, what's the best advice that you would give to up and coming musicians? Like somebody tells you, "Hey, Mike, you're in the music business. Tell me, how can I get to your level?"
Oh, geez. Practice, practice, practice. So many people get the instrument, they hear and they want to emulate somebody, but they don't do the things. I'm like, that person to play that lick that we're doing right now, you can't do. They probably sat in the room and played for hours till they got that. So just they're doing it, but it's a lot faster. Don't give up.
I mean, that's a great piece of advice because before you could write your first number one hit, you gotta be able to play other people's music or at least master
Right,
the
right.
craft. Yeah,
And being in a cover band is a really good outline. And the rock school is something kind of cool because it teaches kids songs first.
yeah, yeah,
And they're playing something that they hear. So they're involved. When I learned guitar, my parents were like, "You're not doing any of that rock and roll stuff." And
yeah.
I was reading music, but then I went on to college for classical guitar and stuff like that. So I did enjoy it. But there's so much reward out of playing something simple and playing something that you like and
Yeah,
want to be like.
and like I think I mentioned this before, but like I'm a huge Kiss fan. I bring that up because like you look at them, and one thing that always made me a Kiss fan, besides the makeup and the visual look and everything, their songs had great hooks. I mean, and that's how they were able to have a 50-year career. You don't have a 50-year
Yeah.
career unless you're writing great music.
Yeah.
Yeah, great songs. Yeah,
People have to relate to it. And they have to be able to sing along to it. So that's
yeah.
important.
Well,
Yeah.
Mike, it was great getting to know you today, and
Yeah.
I
Awesome.
can't, I would love to have you back once the album's out. I have a chance to hear the whole
Awesome.
thing. And what's weird is like when I got the press release on the band, I was like, I've heard the name, I've heard the band's name. It sounds
Yeah.
familiar, but yet you asked me to name a song, I really couldn't until today. I
Yeah.
can at least say, okay, Solarhead. So I'll
Yeah.
go out and download or buy the latest single, Solarhead. Anything else you want to say to the fans, Mike, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, we've been around for a long time. The history goes back into the '80s and into the Empire Rock Room. And if you ever read the bio, I talk about that a lot. But we're not done yet.
That's great
So,
to hear. Now let me ask you real
yeah.
quick, if you don't mind me asking. Did you hurt your hand playing your instrument or doing martial arts?
Well, no, I didn't do it. The martial arts. Usually, I have pins and plates and titanium trophies all over my body. I race motocross and things like that. But this problem with my thumb happened from having a musical instrument in my hand for 40 years, moving my thumb out of the socket to get some weird fingerings with
Wow.
classical and different pieces, and I wore the joint out totally.
You're
And it
a
was
you're a
just
you're a metal warrior, my friend. I mean, wow,
yeah,
you've lived a
it
life.
just and it just came on like a sledgehammer. It was like boom,
Yeah, those things happen.
super.
Just real
Yeah.
quick. A couple of months back, I was carrying a desk chair down because I throw it away, and as
Yeah.
I'm carrying it down the stairs, the metal thing holding it up like falls flat on my foot, my bare foot, and I just kind of it was a fractured baby toe, but I couldn't drive for a whole
But
for a whole
what did you say when it hit you?
ow.
You probably didn't say just out,
No,
but
no, but it
anyway.
wasn't. What's funny is what happened was because I didn't go to emergency right away because it didn't really hurt that bad. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
just drop something. But I
Yeah.
guess it swelled up to the point where I had to wear one of those boots for a few days, and then they
Yeah.
said, "Okay, you take it off, but you can't drive. You got to stay home for a month." Okay, just for
Yeah.
a baby fracture toe.
Oh, it's hard to sit still. It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
Well, my friend, like I said, great getting to know you. Just to let you
Yep.
know, Mike, the interview will be going up by tomorrow morning. I'll send you the link and feel free to
Cool.
share it. And we'll definitely have you back when the album comes out. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason.
Anytime, brother. Take care.
All right. Bye.